Oh, sweet Jesus!
Brendan, you must do another LittleBigPlanet video.
But I'm a Sonic channel.
Silence! You must do another one. Also, I need a place to stay.
There's a couch in the living room.
Thanks.
What the is that thing? Okay, listen, I know we had an emotional funeral for LittleBigPlanet in the last video, but it's okay, guys. He's okay. We fished him out of the sewer after the last video started doing well. How the hell did it do better than my Sonic videos? The early 2010s were certainly a weird year for all these gaming companies. The Wii was doing really well at the time, maybe because it costs less than the other consoles, or it's cheap to produce but still high quality games, or maybe because you could waggle a little rectangle and play tennis with it. After the success of the Wii's motion gimmicks, Microsoft and Sony looked at it and thought they could do the same thing. They couldn't. Xbox made the Kinect, which is home to just some of the worst motion control games because of the really bad sensor mixed with your hands being the controller. They turned my goated series into a fraud. And Sony, they made, I don't think I can say this on YouTube. This is the PlayStation Move controller. It's a Wii remote with a little ball on top of it. That's literally what it is. There's nothing else to say. There's even a Wii wheel equivalent to it. They didn't really use this thing well until more recently, since it was repurposed to be controllers for the PSVR. But back on the PS3, it was mostly the home of lame sports games or just jammed into other games that didn't need it. One of the perfect examples of this was LittleBigPlanet. I don't have a good transition for this. I bought this for 10 minutes of a video. A few months after the release of the PlayStation Move, we finally got our first game that used the thing, and our only game to use it. Sackboy's Prehistoric Moves. This isn't your typical LittleBigPlanet game. Prehistoric Moves is more of a tech demo for the moveset. There's no create mode or community sections. It's a heavily modified version of LBP1 with only one world to play. The story of this game brings Sackboy all the way back to the prehistoric times to save a creation from Terrence Dactyl. For a tech demo, it's a short and sweet game. It only has 10 levels to it, 6 main levels and 4 minigame levels. And the levels themselves are very heavily LBP1 styled. Cardboard characters, tighter platforming, reusing music from LBP1. Come on, just look at the pod. It's just LBP1. The big difference between this game and LBP1, however, is the addition of the move controller functions. Essentially, whenever you see a glowing pink platform, you can do some quirky thing with it. Using it as a shield against hazards, flinging yourself to different parts of the map, making platforms. Kinda reminds me of the Wii U gamepad block placing feature in New Super Mario U, but, you know, this time it's actually worth talking about. I like this gimmick, but I also really don't like it. It's a pretty cool idea on paper, using the motion gimmicks to mess and tweak around with the core platforming of the game. The big problem with it though is that the game never considered that LittleBigPlanet fans have no local friends to play it with, so it just becomes the most jank and difficult game in the series. I'm sure if someone was there to play it with you, it would be fine, but me? Dude, I make Sonic videos for a living. Of course I'm playing this by myself. The game had some pretty cool stickers and costumes into the LBP1 style, though. They never got added to the main games until LBP3, though. I mean, you're a few million years too late for adding essentially LBP1 costumes to a third game, but whatever, I guess. You don't collect any objects, stickers, or costumes like the normal games. You get everything possible before even starting the game. The main collectible are these special bubbles. There's 25 of them to collect through the whole game, and there's not much of an award for collecting them, though, other than this achievement, but I mean, hey, it's better than nothing, I guess. That's all there really is to talk about with this game. If you remove all the cool community stuff of LBP, it kind of just becomes like a 1-minute discussion. It's a good thing they made a sequel.
Watch and learn, my friends.
A little after LBP2 came out, Media Molecule decided to make both a sequel to the original game's story and Sackboy's Prehistoric Moves. The Move Pack is the biggest DLC to release for the game, and fun fact, it's also the one DLC pack that only like 3.5 people played. The story of the Move Pack takes place in a valley of Sackbots, where Sackboy gets introduced to the Brain Crane. It's a power-up that allows Sackboy to move and control objects and players with his mind, or a funny Wii remote and a camera. The villain of the story, the Cakeling, has a pretty cool backstory actually. Essentially, Victoria from the last story mode tried to make her own Brain Crane, but that's when an evil cake dives into the machine. It eventually fuses and becomes the Cakeling. After that, the Cakeling takes Victoria and Garibald's son hostage. It's probably a joke with Garibald Mazrock's name, but I'm too stupid to get it. So as usual, it's up to Sackboy to save the day once again, traveling across 8 brand new levels and 8 more side levels. 16 levels for a DLC pack is pretty damn big. Most of the other packs I can just count on my fingers. But this one? I mean, I can see why it's the most expensive pack now. In my opinion, the levels themselves use the move controller way better than Prehistoric Moves did. They made it so while it can still be fun playing this with friends, it wouldn't be uncomfortable enough to play the game by yourself. In all fairness though, recalibrating it is actually like the worst thing ever because now you have to hold down the select button and then try again and try again and try again! You can even use the PS Move Navigator to make it more comfortable for you. I didn't do that though because I didn't buy it. Listen, you think I'm ever gonna use this stuff outside of this video? Okay, we make 2 videos a month and make no money from it. Cut me some slack. The levels themselves have a lot to offer in them. Fun platforming without having to stop and go. Everything flows nicely, which is really surprising for the motion controls. I really like how the Sackbots are just actual characters now too. They have some really fun characteristics to them. I like this big Sackbot fella here. There's no joke here, I just thought he was cool. While the main levels here are really fun, the minigames are where the DLC shines in my opinion. really tried to entice the players to make minigames with the move controller, so they went all out with these. My favorites here have to be the color block puzzle game, the balloon style game, and the frog bubble game. Seriously, all these minigames are addicting, and dare I say, these are better than the actual story mode minigames. It's really a shame not a lot of people made levels with the move controller. I'm serious, I don't think there was a single one. I didn't even know you could use the thing in create mode until I wrote this script. The final boss is super fun too, and flinging these light bugs at the cakeling just feels so satisfying. While overall there's not a lot to talk about here because of it being a DLC pack rather than a new story, but it's still really cool and it treats itself like one of the other story modes in the actual game. There's a lot of extra content to collect in this. Like as I said before, the move controller stuff for create mode and all these new materials, costumes, stickers, they really did put their all into this, and it just proves my point further that LBP is the only PlayStation series to use this move stuff to its fullest. You can also draw pictures with the controller too. I don't know, I just thought it was cool. Personally, I'm really glad I went out of my way to try the move pack. It really is such an underrated experience for the series. It's a shame not a lot of people got to play it thanks to the move controllers. Also, sorry about this annoying thing. Someone sold me a camera that's just kind of broken and a little wonky. I got a funny picture out of it though. I'm gonna go to the next game now.
Mario Kart.
It's just a version of Mario Kart Wii's motion controls. Moving on. This pack for LBP2 has nothing really to do with the move controller, but the pack itself is pretty similar, so I'll just put it here anyway. So around the time the PlayStation Vita came out, Sony tried to tie it with the PS3 a lot, especially with remote play. So, just like every other faulty gimmick that Sony just crammed into their LittleBigPlanet made sure to use it to its fullest. And we even got the help of, yeah, this came out when Media Molecule was kind of done with LBP, so Sumo Digital took charge of the project before working on LBP3. But you know what, maybe they did a good job here. Let's find out by loading up the app on our Vita and, Woo! I'm having a blast! Check it out, I'm playing it! This is the most fun I've ever had! This is a YouTube video. Yeah, so the DLC doesn't really work anymore thanks to the servers being down, which, you know, thanks Sony for keeping the DLC still up because I found that out after I rebought it. So you know what, I'll just talk about what I remember from playing it years ago and the videos I find. There's a lot of money being wasted on this video. The plot of the LBP2 cross-controller pack has Sackboy flying into space when suddenly a ship crashes into a space prison. The ship crashes into a prison cell, letting a band of pirates escape. After tricking Sackboy, it's up to him to stop Warden Crumb and save the planet. Meh. There's only 4 main levels in this pack with 2 side levels, and if I'm being completely honest, it's, a little boring. When I think of LBP, I think of cool creative levels with a colorful vibe to them, not a dark, desolate, boring prison with dull colors. The levels are fine, but nowhere near as cool and creative as the move pack or hell, even Prehistoric Moves. The gimmicks in these levels are cool. You're able to mess with the levels using the PS Vita's touchpad. There's even minigames and whatnot that you get to play in the Vita while playing the levels themselves. Say what you will about all these DLC packs and tech demos, but LittleBigPlanet shined when it came to console gimmicks. They managed to make remote play cool, and remote play sucks, so you know that's good. It's really a shame that this DLC seems to be a bit undercooked compared to a lot of the other DLCs in this game. The move pack had like 16 levels, this one has 6. Nobody even used the Vita stuff in their own create mode levels. It's really sad how niche and underperformed the Vita was. That's all there really is to talk about this. It's really undercooked compared to all the other DLCs. Though to be fair, even if this is my least favorite out of all the packs here, it's still worth it to check it out. I know I didn't talk about it as much as I should here, but seriously, try this out for yourself if you get the chance. That goes for for all of these, the move pack especially. I had a blast playing it. And I'm sure Prehistoric Moves would be a great time with other friends too. LBP3 didn't even get anything related to this stuff. Hell, it's actually impossible to play cross-controller. They just took it out entirely. I know Dreams lets you use the Move controller, but yeah, that's really it for this kind of stuff. Overall, it was really fun to experience all these packs, and going back to LBP itself was super refreshing. It was almost like I was experiencing everything for the first time again. I'm probably done with this series for now, though. Sure, it was fun to come back to, and playing things both old and new to me was so nice to play. There's other things to talk about with these games, like the old builds of the game, Sackboy Big Adventure, and some other DLCs, but for me, this is all I really needed. I'm really happy people are enjoying these videos, though. It makes me confident enough to make other videos outside of Sonic. Well, that was that. This ending's pretty anticlimactic. What do I do now? I know! Hit it, Duixie! Well, meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.